What were some of the other roles that you kind of went into after that? I mean, did you do production management, second unit? What were you doing after that?
What I did, well, I wanted to be, my path, and I'll talk to you guys about that, and I'll talk to you what I think is some of the important things if you want to make it in this business, whether you want to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, or on stage, is I moved out here. I didn't have much money, but then I got into a cheap apartment, and then I found my day job. At that point, I was like literally the towel boy at the Regent Beverly Wilshire, and I worked there. And then I started working in gyms as a trainer to just kind of have like a day job. And then I would audition, and I was, work reading scripts and putting scripts together and trying to produce stuff and making short films and producing theater. But I think the point I'm making is, there's two paths you could go once you get out. One path would be to kind of gravitate towards a professional, if like you want to be a producer, a filmmaker, is to gravitate towards a company like a Paramount or a smaller production company or any of, and try and get a job as an intern, an executive assistant or executive, and work that path, like go through one company, learn how the business works that way. Or you could go the more independent route if you want to, be a producer, writer, director, whatever that is, and, have some form of income or something to keep your head, a roof above your head and, gas in your car and food on your table, and then go the independent route, make your own movies, direct your own stuff, kind of network with other people to get, write scripts and, have a day job and submit those scripts to other filmmakers, production companies. I think in the entertainment industry, there's a lot more jobs, if you will, in the executive side with Netflix and with Apple and the streamers that, they're unfortunately they grew very big. And now, now, as you probably read, they're laying a lot of people off. But like 2 years ago, it was just like everybody in the independent world was getting hired by Netflix or Apple or Amazon. So what I'm saying is, to my fellow Brooklyn College students, if you want to pursue this industry, you could, very well look at those companies and take a hard look and see what divisions, what departments, where you would want to fit, and pursue one of those, getting out and getting yourself established. Or you could, more to the independent route, like I said, is write, produce, direct, act, your own material, find sources of partnerships and connections. They're not mutually exclusive too. A lot of people start off as independent, go out into companies, or a lot of people start in companies and then go out to the freelance world. But that's basically, if you will, right now, the kind of landscape of the movie and television industry, if that makes sense.
Would you say in terms of fresh out of college, the best route is to go with a company just to get a footing? And I think you kind of touched on that. I don't know if you would like to add anything to that.
Well, I mean, if you want to work at a company and you're fresh out of college, right, you're probably going to get the lowest level job, right? Like in the agency business, that'd be mailroom or like production assistant or assistant to assistant or somebody, because you really don't have any real world experience. College education is nice, don't get me wrong. Here's the truth, I don't even think I actually, Mike could tell you, graduated Brooklyn College. I went for 6 years and then I moved out to LA, and I didn't quite have, I was short a couple language degrees, but in the whole period of my career, nobody's ever asked to see my college diploma, right? So it's good to have an education and a background, but if you're going to springboard out and get started in a company, recognize you're probably, unless you know somebody personally who can get you a good job, you're going to start at the lowest level position. Nothing wrong with that, right? Then I would say just put together a good CV, understand, when you're explaining to people, say my long-term objectives, I want to be a producer, I want to learn, I want to listen, I want to be there to solve problems, and then get that out, because everybody wants that, right? Somebody wants a young, hungry person they can teach and learn and develop. So recognize that. Now, if you're getting out of school and you want to go the independent route, then that's a different thing. Then now you've got a network, you probably have to have a day job of some kind of night job, something to pay your rent and your other stuff. but you're going to have more flexibility in that you can develop your own projects, or you could stay home and write all day, whatever it might be that you're going to need to do. I hope that answers your question. But if you're coming out, look for, do your homework, try and find people in that company and say, well, can I look at their, did someone go to Brooklyn College, honestly, or did someone come from a Armenian background, or did somebody, and I'm not, but find those human connections to people. And that will help often, because here's the other thing. If you're looking to hire people and you don't have a human resources or a whole department, you want to kind of weed through people that are the less desirable, or the people who don't have any skill or nutty. So if you can find somebody who has a connection, who can vouch for somebody, and you say, oh, well, at least I have a personal connection, let me call this person up. That will often be the thing that will get you in the appointment, the interview, And I remember when I was making my first movie and I was trying to get people to clear music. It was a company, Warner Chappell at the time, that was very hard. The woman wouldn't return my phone calls. I sent her flowers. It sounded corny. And then she picked up, she's like, you're the crazy kid who sent me the flowers. I'm like, yeah, I'm the crazy kid. I didn't get the song, but she took my call. I got an answer. But my point to you is, find any way, short of being a pest or a nuisance or any of that kind of, you don't want to cross the line of being creepy, but be persistent and peppy. I know it sounds, I'm giving you hopefully candy that will help you in your career. And what I mean by that is the happy to be here and easy to work with. That's candy I got 30 years ago. And that's good candy today. When I go on set and I'm like, I got to take Gio's advice,